listeners. Welcome back to the courtroom. I was having some problems with my recording software, so I apologize for the long delay, but here is the final chapter of Accuse Me. Thank you for being patient and enjoy.
We're both lost at a day. Pretty much similar. I don't wanna hear your thoughts. You don't wanna feel my skin.
He made bail. He's under house arrest, and because his place is currently a crime scene, he's cooped up at the Four Seasons on Bridge Street. Harmony looked up as Brian pulled on a jacket after he put his phone down. The thought of chasing after Lola was now more frantic than ever. But as she pulled on her shoes, a knock came at the door, and she rushed down, yelling for Brian to grab her purse. But her voice died on her lips when she found a pretty girl standing at her door, with wide-opened eyes staring at her. "Can I help you?" Harmony asked. "Are you Prosecutor Harmony Lovington?" "Yes, I am. And you are?" She extended her hand. "I'm Val Lee. I used to date Kale Viser. I need to talk to you about something." Harmony shook her hand and gestured her in. "How did you find my place?" "I didn't. I followed you." "What?" Harmony crossed her arms. "Should I be afraid of you?" "What's going on?" Brian asked as he came to the front door. He watched them both with inquisitive eyes. "Val, what are you doing here?" Harmony turned to him, shocked. "You know her?" "Professionally speaking, yes, I do know her. She came in to file the complaint." "Come on in. Have a seat, and tell me what's going on," Harmony said. 1 year ago. Val opened the front door to her car and saw the white Civic driving up to her driveway. Her instant reaction was to run back inside and call the cops, but her heart was so tired of having to fight to have peace. She waited until Lola parked the car and got out, her hair a mess from the wind, and the woman looked as if she hadn't slept a wink. "What are you doing here, Lola?" Val asked. "You know exactly why I'm here, Val. You know better than anyone else what this means to me, and I'm here to tell you to stop, or else I'm going straight to your husband and telling him everything I've seen you done." Val rolled her eyes. "You mean my ex-husband? Look, I'm no longer associated with him, and if you want to stir up trouble, be my guest. But it's going to be you behind the slammer, not me. So get off my property." "You're going to get it, Val, and I mean it. When you wake up, you won't know what hit you tomorrow." Present. Perhaps if I start from the beginning, you may understand a bit better. I was dating Kale Viser a year ago, and Lola was very well aware of it, Val said. Harmony leaned forward. Wait a minute. She made it seem as if she never knew about him until Bella started dating him. Shaking her head, Val replied, "No, Lola and I were best friends." Harmony stared at Brian. "Did you take her report against Lola?" "No, a criminal report was never filed, but she came into the station wanting information on how to keep people like Lola away. And you never thought to tell me this." "If anything," Val interrupted, "I never told Detective Brian it was Lola who was harassing me." Harmony blinked. "Oh, why didn't you file charges?" "Because she just suddenly stopped showing up. And I think it also has something to do with me and Cal breaking up. I thought we were doing quite well, actually, and then suddenly he decided that he didn't want to be together. But a few weeks later, I received an anonymous note with a photo of a razor in a pool of blood." Harmony leaned back in her chair. "Wait a minute." She got up and went to grab hers from a drawer. "Did it look anything like this?" Val nodded. "Yes, it looked exactly like that." "And this happened shortly after you broke up with Cal?" Brian asked. "Yes. I saw the news of the trial being suspended. I knew something was going on, and I needed to tell you that Lola Hang isn't who you think she is." She's not Bella Stein's biological sister. Harmony almost choked. What? She didn't tell you that, did she? Harmony shook her head. I knew she wouldn't. That woman is another level of scary when she can be. I've always thought she was a good friend until she wasn't. What happened between you two? I was dating Kale, and she was jealous that she wasn't. She has never met him in person, if that makes it any better. She has never met him in person, and that's why Kale never could recognize her in court. She had this infatuation about him because of his songs and how he sounded, and she once told me that all the songs written about love came from her. Harmony laughed. I'm sorry, but that was like a total psychobabble for a moment. I said the same thing, but she got scarier and crazier until she threatened me. But then Kel just broke up with me and she suddenly stopped coming around. Harmony crossed her arms. But her sister began dating him, didn't she? Yes, and you know the rest of the story there. Lola, open the door, Brian asked as he pounded on her wooden door frame. He could hear what sounded like rummaging, and then everything went quiet. A few moments later, Lola opened the door an inch and gave him a fake smile. Detective, what are you doing here? She asked, almost out of breath. Lola, I need to talk to you. Can I come in? I'm moving things around and the house is a mess. I'll come outside. Before he could argue, she slipped out and closed the door behind her. Crossing her arms, she gave him another one of her pretend smiles as he planted his hands on his hips. Are you going somewhere? He asked. Shaking her head, she replied, No, I'm just spring cleaning. Spring isn't until next year. What, a girl can't clean her house? What is the meaning of your visit anyway? I mean, the trial is on hold and there's nothing left for me to say to you or Harmony. Brian smiled and crossed his arms, making himself appear larger. Well, you got me there, Lola, but there's something that is bothering me and why you didn't tell me about it. Or the fact that you didn't share this with Harmony either, since she was representing Bella. What are you talking about? You're not Bella's biological sister. He watched as the smile faded, and then she turned to run when Brian grabbed her and pushed her against the wall. Why are you running from me? I didn't do anything wrong, she cried. Then why run, huh? She let out a scream, and then she bit into his hand, but he didn't let go. He kneed her upper thigh hard enough for her to release him, and she sat down, groaning. His hand was bleeding, but he reached behind him and grabbed his handcuffs. You can't arrest me for no reason, she cried. He showed his bloody hand. Assaulting an officer sound good enough for you? Harmony entered the investigation room and found Lola sitting cuffed to the table. The woman rolled her eyes at her, but she forced herself to not react. She pulled out a chair and sat down as Brian took out a pen and paper to take notes. What is she doing here? Lola asked. She is here to keep me from strangling you, Brian said as he flipped the notepad over. You okay? Harmony asked. He nodded. I'll live. I'm not talking without my lawyer present. Oh, you don't need to tell us anything, Lola. Val already did, Harmony said. At the mention of Val's name, Lola perked up, and she leaned forward, her eyes suddenly curious of what had happened. It's a lie, she screamed. Whatever she told you is a lie. How do you know? It's not as if you're going to be sharing anything different with us without your lawyer, right? Whatever she told you, I never did anything she said that I did. I went to her house, but I never slashed her tires. Brian sat up. No one said anything about you slashing tires. But since you brought it up, are you sure you didn't do it? Lola shut her eyes, almost as if in pain, and let out a heavy breath. Val and I used to be best friends, until she dated Kale Viser. Why didn't you tell us that you knew Kale? And why does it matter who dates him? She let out a sob. Look at me, and then look at them. I mean, how can they even compare to me, huh? I'm a successful and rich woman who makes over $100,000 a year, and they're just a bunch of wannabes who will never become more than a good lay in between the sheets. I don't understand why he wants them and not me. Harmony smiled. So you decided to get rid of them, is that it? You wanted to make sure they all went away so Kale could be yours, is that right? I didn't want it to be that way, especially not with Bella, but she wasn't my real sister anyways, so making sure she didn't wake up wasn't hard to do. Harmony felt a heartbeat stop and she turned to Brian. Are you recording this? It sounds like a confession. Laughing, Lola cried out, Confession. If you want to hear the truth, better get your tape recorders ready. Are you ready to hear this? She clapped her hands together. I killed Bella. I did. I had the key, and I let myself in before they came in. It was so hard listening to them grunt and moan on the bed with pleasures I was supposed to be feeling. I hated her so much. She sounded like a goddamn pig. And then she started crying. And Kale, handsome Kale, he wasn't even stable anymore after the drug, but he was still able to do 2 rounds of lovemaking. How strong he was, until eventually the drug knocked him out. How did you do it? She smiled as a tear dropped from her eye. It was easy. I just walked over, and all the anger lay there in her form. The first cut left me able to breathe, and the next left me able to see. And I just kept going until my pain disappeared. By the time I realized I felt better, she was staring at me with accusing dead eyes. How could you be so cold? Brian asked. How could I not be, Detective? All my life I'd lost to everyone, and Bella pulled the last string on my heart. Kale was supposed to be mine, and she took him. She didn't even love him either. And you do? Harmony asked. She sobbed and ran a hand through her hair. I do. I have loved him since the very first time I heard him sing. His voice is like velvet, and it soothes me every single time he sings, and it makes all the aches to my body go away. You know, all those songs, they're all about me. So explain why you were going to let him go to prison for a crime you committed if you loved him, Brian asked. Smiling, she replied, if I couldn't have him, then I would send him where no one could. I'd make him pay for not seeing me. But he never even knew you existed, Lola, Harmony said as she watched the woman's lifeless eyes fill up with tears. She almost felt sorry for her. The way her shoulders shrunk in her bones and how she suddenly aged at this very moment. But in reality, this woman was completely crazy. He would have, if everyone else just went away, she whispered. Brian stood up and reached to help her stand. Lola Hang, you are under arrest for the murder of Bella Steins. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you in the court of law. Thank you, Kale said as he walked out of the police station the following evening. The news had spread like wildfire, and Harmony had received a ton of phone calls asking to be interviewed. She had to unplug her phone. Thank you too, she whispered. He smiled, and then he touched her arm gently. How about that drink? She returned the smile at him and tucked a strand behind her ear. Thank you, Mr. Viser, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to say no. You're not interested in me? You know, some woman would kill to have dinner with me. Harmony shrugged. Well, I'm not some woman. That I agree, he said as he slipped the shades on. Take care, Miss Harmony Lovington. I hope to never see you in court again. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Accuse Me. I hope that you enjoy that, and I will see you in the next episode.
We're both lost at a day. It's pretty much similar. Players in a spotlight game. So fancy when I'm in the spotlight. I'm sitting dark in my privacy. A craving that is knocking you out. Just trading visions for my body. Make a hunger when I'm not holding you tight. I'm feeling your eyes and you love it. Cause the distance feeds your limit, alright. I'm feeling your eyes and you love it. It's sick and difficult, but we're not ashamed. Pretty damn mutual. We're not sentimental. No sentiments, no. So fancy when I'm in the spotlight. I'm still alone in my privacy. A craving that is knocking you out. Just trading visions for my body. Make a hunger when I'm not holding you tight. I'm feeling your eyes and you love it. Cause the distance feeds your limit, alright. I'm feeling your eyes and you love it. Your thoughts, you don't wanna feel my skin. You don't wanna feel my skin. You just wanna dream of sin. Sickness floating in our veins. Players in a spotlight game.